well done.
This is one of the greatest comebacks ever. I never even play FIFA. How has this happened?
Well, I needed an intro about comebacks and I couldn't think of anywhere else to put you in this episode.
You really are an arrogant, snarky little
Here are
bitch,
7 video game comebacks that blew our tiny little minds.
Don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
I'm not even talking about sporting comebacks anyway, so ignore that intro. What we're interested in here are video games that have shocked the world with mind-blowing comebacks after long, dark absences. Games that have reinvented, rebooted or reimagined themselves and produced a bit of magic when we least suspect it. Games like our first entry, Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS4. When this was announced back at E3 2015, you could sort people's reactions into 2 categories. Category 1 was made up of people like Nathan and Dave, stubborn, random, battle-phobic real-timers who never played the original Final Fantasy VII and so sat there looking at the pretty pictures while big fat question marks clanged about inside their brains. Whereas Category 2 was made up of normal people like you and I. People who did play Final Fantasy VII all those years ago and know it for the once-in-a-generation JRPG classic that it is. People who had been pleading with Square Enix for a remake for years and years while never really believing it would happen. Even sitting there watching it being revealed in front of my actual face, I still didn't believe it. Not until Cloud strolled on screen and the word remake, huge and proud, stamped itself into the delirious minds of fans worldwide. So yeah, here's the Category 2 reaction. Later on, actual gameplay was released that showed what all our favourite characters would look like if they weren't made of colourful blocks from the 90s and instead made of millions and millions of lovely current-gen pixels. Also, everyone now talks, which sadly means I'm no longer able to do my own customised Barrett voice like in that other Friday feature. But unsadly means everything is now even more brilliant than before. Welcome back, Final Fantasy VII. We've missed you. Next up, we've got God of War on PS4, a surprise comeback mainly because last time we saw Kratos, he looked a bit dead, but also because of the awesome new look and feel of the game. We've now got a behind-the-shoulder camera, all the better for seeing Kratos' beautifully defined current-gen muscles. The action has changed pace, it now looks more deliberate and, if anything, even more hard-hitting. And most crucially of all, Kratos now has a son he's training. Now, I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, but I think Sony Santa Monica might have actually looked at me when searching for inspiration for Kratos' comeback. I mean, I'm already bald and angry, so we're kind of there, but now they've made Kratos a dad with a beard. Also, I bet they saw my cosplay too. Talking of comebacks, here's another joke I'm going to reuse from an old Access video. See, look, they've totally nailed me. It's fine, I'm not gonna sue. I'm flattered, really. Entry number 3, and these aren't all going to be from E3, I promise, but there's an elephant in the room and we have to address it, because the elephant is actually a bandicoot, and yes, it's really happening. Crash is coming to PS4 in what can only be described as a wonderful piece of press conference theatre. Chairman of Sony Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden, took to the stage with a familiar backdrop, a musical score, and an even more familiar shadow. What happened next was almost as if we were writing his auto cue for him. Right, we're going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4. Say that.
We're going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4.
Yes! Basically what he's saying is we get to live our childhoods again and run around spin-attacking goats and riding on baby tigers and legging it from malevolent boulders. And if you're worried about whether or not that's still going to be awesome in 2016, then have a little play of that bit near the beginning of Uncharted 4 and tell me you're not pumped for the return of everyone's favourite marsupial.
I am. There's no one like Crash, is there? A lovable animal mascot who doesn't speak, but then he doesn't need to. His actions speak for themselves. Spin, jump, run, jump again. I wish I had someone like that in my life.
Next up, we've got a comeback from earlier this year, a first-person shooter whose ancestor practically invented the genre back in 1993. Yep, it's Doom, and once again the reaction can be broken into two categories. Category 1, people who were too busy playing RPGs when Doom first came out and or were too terrified to play anything remotely scary, and Category 2, people who spent so long playing the original they could literally complete the first level on Nightmare mode with their eyes closed. Like, literally.
Bethesda's 2016 reboot did that rare thing. It modernised the game, made it all shiny and new looking, while keeping the essence of the original intact.
That essence being insanely fast-paced first-person combat, brilliantly hellish environments, and lots of lovely gore. Ooh, yes. Now, I know this next entry is probably going to spark some controversy, but come on, you can't argue Dante's fresh-faced return in 2013's Devil May Cry reboot wasn't one of the most significant gaming comebacks ever. No matter what you thought of the now hipster-haired Demon Slayer's redesign, you have to admit the game itself was a stunner, with gorgeous inventive art design and a slick combat system that felt every bit as fluid and reactive as the series' original PS2 outing.
Once again, you're juggling nasties with guns and a sword like some kind of murderous circus performer.
And a special new Devil Trigger, which gives Dante the hair colour you deserve, but just don't need right now. But whatever, I'm nailing my colours to the mast. I loved new Dante. I thought he was well cool ever since I first saw him in that ludicrous intro sequence. 2013 was a good year for comebacks, wasn't it? I mean, I know of two, DMC, which I just mentioned then, and Tomb Raider, which I'm mentioning now. This was an action-adventure masterclass from Crystal Dynamics, reinventing and modernising the series while introducing a greenhorn Lara Croft on her first real expedition. It doesn't go very well.
Spikes, caves, religious nutjobs, being underwater.
But our heroine is aided by an excellent cover-based combat system and a load of sexy new equipment.
A bow and arrow, a pickaxe thing, loads and loads of guns.
I especially liked it as it focused more on breathtaking cinematic action than puzzles you had to figure out by slowly turning Lara around like a docking cargo ship, like in the old times. In this new Tomb Raider, Lara just jumps, usually in the right direction, and if you get it wrong, then, oh well, try again. Bottom line is, Tomb Raider was a brilliantly fresh reboot that landed just at the right time, because seriously, any longer and I'd have released my own Tomb Raider reboot and you probably wouldn't have wanted that. Final entry then, and Dave, you're going to have to let me off on this one. It's not a game, see? It's more of a person that's come back. That's right, it's Hideo Kojima, who finished his global technology tour of all the coolest dev studios in the world just in time to walk across a bridge of pure light during the PlayStation E3 conference in 2016.
I'm back.
Yeah, we love you, Cod!
He then proceeded to show off Kojima Productions' upcoming creation, Death Stranding, a bizarre-looking game full of symbolism and dead things on a beach. Now, what you probably don't know is that Kojima-san, during his global technology tour of all the coolest dev studios in the world, poked his head into PlayStation Access Towers for a cup of tea and a catch-up. To my embarrassment, he sort of caught me and Delsin while we were making up after a heated argument. And, well, there you have it. If you were confused about the whole naked Norman Reedus with the fetus thing, this is where Hideo Kojima got the idea.
But what a comeback, and what a man!
Yeah, we probably should put our clothes on again, shouldn't we? Dave and Nath have to sit on this sofa in a bit. There we go, 7 shocking video game comebacks that blew our minds. Let us know in the comments if you can think of any more like this video so I can print out a nice looking YouTube analytics sheet for my boss. Subscribe if you haven't already, and join us again next week for another Friday feature. Thanks for watching.